just so felt out of sorts with not being here the last couple Sundays because of the weather. After the first one, I was like, really, Lord, a second one? But welcome back. I'm Ed. For those of you who don't know, I'm one of the elders here at New Life, and I'm just excited to talk to you this morning. Welcome to visitors, to people that aren't usually here, and to everybody watching online. Here's the clicker. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the Great Commission today. Y'all heard of that, right? Great Commission? Okay. I had this ready like 3 weeks ago. I had a lot of time to tweak this, including this morning. Just wasn't comfortable with something, so I threw out 3 slides and added 1 this morning. I don't know, it's just always fun to keep listening to have the Holy Spirit help me hone what I'm trying to say. So let me pray. Father, I thank you that we are all soil of some kind. Father, I pray you help me cast good seed. Father, I pray that you'll be giving me good seed as I'm teaching, even stuff I haven't thought of yet, that's on your heart and on your mind. Lord, I pray that the seed will land on good soil here and produce 30, 60, 100 times fold. Thank you that this is your work, that you are the Lord of the harvest. In Jesus' name, amen. So, the Great Commission and the church. My clicker is not clicking. It is on. Oh, there it goes. Now I've gone. Okay, there I go. So, what has come before in this series? Now, I know this. There we go. What has come before in this series? I mean, when Trevor opened this up, it was like early January. And with 2 weeks missing, I would probably have forgotten what we were supposed to be talking about if I wasn't supposed to talk about it today. So what has come before this? Trevor started off by talking about the beauty of the church. And then Brian talked about a culture of honor in the church. And Eric talked about the shield of faith. Remember that big shield Eric made? Now, last week, Alan taught at 10:30 on thinking. This wasn't part of the regular series, but I encourage you to get that and listen to it, because how we think and how we think what we think is really important. It's really important as disciples. Today, there are 3 parts to what I want to talk about with the Great Commission. And the first is discipleship is like gravity. 2 things never usually heard in the same sentence, discipleship and gravity, but they are very much alike. The second, what does the Great Commission mean? Now, I've talked about this before. You probably don't remember, but I cut some slides out about this, and I'll just tell you instead of putting them up there, because the one I really want to get to is New Life and Commission Impossible. As Alan introduced this at the end of December, New Life is on a mission, and it involves the Great Commission. So we're going to get to that last. So discipleship is like gravity. What is a disciple? This is a simple definition. Now, there's one you can talk about if you want to think about the way Dallas Willard defined discipleship, but we're talking about Christian discipleship. I'm thinking more in general. What is a disciple? It's someone who learns from something or someone and becomes like their instructor in thinking, lifestyle, and actions. It's really what a disciple is. I mean, you can be a disciple of Sigmund Freud, though he's long dead. Why you would want to be, I'm not sure, but you could be. You could be a disciple of Karl Marx, who is also long dead. Why you would want to do that, I'm not exactly sure. But it's someone or something that we're learning from and becoming like them in the way they think, the things they believe, the way they live, and the way they act. It's pretty simple. Now, we are all being discipled by someone or something. This is a new thought to me. I'd never considered this before. I was pulling out of the parking lot one Sunday, and I just heard this. We're all being discipled by someone or something. And I thought, well, what is that? Discipleship, in this sense, is like gravity. Gravity is constant. It's pulling, shaping, forming, and grounding us. Now, any of you in here like science fiction? Yeah? Did any of you read it when you were a kid? I mean, I grew up eating science fiction. I loved it. And there was always this great speculation about what gravity would be like on different planets. Like if you were on, say, a planet the size of the moon, gravity lets you really bounce. But there was always speculation that with less pull, we might be narrower, taller people. And there was speculation on high-density planets like Jupiter, if you could walk on Jupiter, that we would all be shorter, real thick, dense bones. So it would be a lot shorter and probably a lot stronger. Because gravity pulls. You ever thought of what cow would be like on a low-gravity planet? You could walk under the cow. Now, we never really think about gravity. It's what keeps me from bouncing off the ceiling right now, if it was too little. And it's what keeps me from being crushed if there was way too much, like black holes. The amount of gravity at the edge of black holes is supposed to be so much you just squish. But there's always something about gravity that's pulling, shaping, forming, and grounding us. And in the same way, we seldom, if ever, notice it unless something goes wrong. Now, by something goes wrong, I mean I forget there's a step here and I fall off the platform. That would be, okay, I just noticed gravity because it worked. Or gravity suddenly shut off and I hit the ceiling, or I squished because it got too high. We don't usually notice it. In the same way, discipleship, if you want to call it apprenticeship, which Dallas Willard does, or if you want to call it spiritual formation, like how we're formed spiritually, however you want to call it, it's always happening. And from birth, we're always being shaped and formed and molded and grounded by someone or something. It's inevitable. It's as consistent as gravity. We are born needing to be shaped and molded. I mean, infants need to be fed, right? They need someone to ground them physically. They need someone to hold them. Everything about them is being shaped by what's around them. In the same way, someone or something is continually discipling us, whether we're aware of it or not. This world is full of all different kinds of voices, all different kinds of things and people that want to mold us or shape them in their image so that we will be like them. I find that really fascinating and real scary. Here's why it's scary. Because there is a spiritual guru behind the way the world shapes, forms, and molds us. Paul says in 2 Corinthians, "But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost." Now, that word I researched, what does it mean, hid? The root means stolen and concealed. By whom? The God of this world. God of this world is continually stealing and concealing the gospel. It's not passive. It's active. He's an ongoing thief. He's an ongoing concealer trying to immunize us so we cannot see the truth of the gospel. The God of this age is the spiritual formation guru behind what is always pulling us, shaping us, molding us, forming us. Why? Because he has a vested interest in us not coming to see the gospel. He has a vested interest in stealing that seed that is continually being sown in our direction. And he has so shaped the world that the world system disciples us opposite from the life of God. Lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. So we have an enemy that has an active, vested interest in concealing and stealing the thing that would shape us, form us, and mold us like the one who loves us, like the one who created us. If you're into conspiracy theories, this is a biggie. Okay, this is the ultimate conspiracy theory. We are discipled into blindness and vanity. That is the goal of this world system. Therefore, I say this and testify in the Lord that you no longer walk, even as the rest of the nations walk, in the vanity of the mind. We're being discipled constantly. And I'm saying this to us as Christians. Because being Christian doesn't mean that all of a sudden the world is no longer trying to influence the way we think and feel and act. And even if it stopped, we have enough of the old stuff in us to last us a lifetime that we are continuing to draw from as Christians. That's not good. It's vanity of the mind, meaning I'm smart enough, I'm wise enough, I can choose the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and I'm smart enough to figure out the good and the evil. I don't need God. It's that fiercely independent part of us that knows best. Having been darkened in the intellect. Our intellect's been darkened. The way we think has been darkened. Being alienated from the life of God. That's where this stuff goes, is the opposite direction. Through the ignorance which is in them because of the hardness of their heart. Now look, I remember when this was absolutely, completely true of me. Can you remember when that was true of you? For some of us, it's been a long time. For some of us, it hadn't been that long. But the seeds of this stuff are still in us because we've been formed and shaped by that system, who having cast off all feeling. That means, I said, what does that mean? So I looked it up. It meant become insensible or insensitive to honor or shame. It's where we get the word analgesic from, like so we don't feel as much stuff. Gave themselves up to lust, to the working of all uncleanliness with greediness. This is how we're discipled, how we've been discipled, and how the world continually wants to disciple us. This is not just true of the people out there. This is true of where all of us in here come from, and it's part of what pulls and shapes and wants to mold us constantly every day. And it's what part of our flesh is always wanting to do. The world and the enemy prey upon lust and pride. That's in us. It's in our flesh. John writes, do not love, and he uses the word agape. Do not agape the world or things in the world. If anyone agapes the world, the agape of the Father is not in him. Now, before I get to the next verse, it's interesting that he uses agape there, because agape is there's different Greek words for love, but agape is the one that we're supposed to agape God with all our heart and soul, our mind, our body, our strength. What John's really saying is, look, don't give to the world what belongs to God. Do not love the world with the same passionate love that we can have for God. Don't confuse the two. There's a difference between the profane and the vile and what's pure, and don't give the pure to the profane. Then he says, for all that is in the world. Now this is how that crazy world system, the spiritual formation guru of this world operates. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. So are you with me so far? We're always being discipled. There's something always tugging on us. It's set up by the spiritual formation guru of this world. Goal, vanity of mind, darkened hard heart, greed, lust, the whole thing. And how it operates is through these things that are unfortunately in us. Now, to be precise, they're in our flesh. But they're powerful and they're strong. You know, Alan talked earlier. I was so tickled to hear Alan's talk earlier about why do Christians, what did Paul do when he went around to the different churches? Well, he strengthened the churches because we all continually need strengthening. Do you understand, given what I've just laid out, why we need strengthening so much? Because this is always at operation in us. You know, it's not like we're in neutral. If we're in neutral, guess what's going to shape and form us? If we're in neutral spiritually, this stuff shapes and forms us. There's an active engagement which strengthens us that we need. So let's talk about these lust, and pride. Lust of the eyes is external. It's what we see that looks desirable. Those are things pretty much outside of us. And this is marketing. And the basic message of marketing is, you are not enough, you need more. Now, you cannot watch TV without you are not enough, you need more. Okay, whether it's a new car, or whether it's a new prescription, or whether it's cosmetics, whether it's Mr. Ray's hair weave, or whatever it is, some that will grow hair for those of us that are follicle challenged. There's a message out there that says you're not enough, you need more. It's the same message Satan gave Adam and Eve in the garden. You're not enough. What God's given you is not enough. If only you had more, then you'd really be cool with God. It's the same message, just conveyed differently. It's your worth is equal to your wealth, purchasing power, your beauty, or you should be living your best life. Let me help you. Entitlement. If I can see it, I should be able to have it. It's like lifestyles of the rich and famous. It's like, this is covetousness at its finest. Have you ever noticed that, have you ever watched those prescription commercials? Maybe I just watch networks that have older shows and they're geared towards people my age. That's why they're always trying to sell me prescriptions. But have you ever noticed people have these horrible conditions? And they say, but if you just take this, it'll fix your life. And they show pictures of these people. Man, they're in great shape. They're playing tennis. They're doing barbecues. They're doing cookouts. They're driving new cars. They're driving their kids to wherever they're going, and they're grinning and they're happy. That all could be yours. All of this can be yours. Now, as a side, I would like to see a commercial illustrating all the side effects. Okay? I'm playing pickleball, but I'm drooling uncontrollably. Okay? I would like to see stuff like that. Or you might shake. I'd like to try to play pickleball and hit it's just, we're so focused on my best life. And shouldn't you have it too? Fulfillment is always just one step or click away. You know, I don't do computer dating. I'm happily married to Maritza, okay? But I have read that one of the real challenges with dating now is the thought that a better one's always just a swipe away. Okay? Why be happy with this one that might look good? You can swipe and find another one. It's lust of the eyes. And this is social media influencers. Wouldn't you like a job as an influencer? I mean, what do influencers actually do? I'm not sure. I know someone that went to auditions for a show like The Bachelor or something like that. And they got called back for the second audition. I think they were in a final pool of people. And talking to them, it was like, well, why are you doing that? Because if I'm on the TV like that, I can be an influencer. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, I won't have to work that hard. I just influence people. I'll post interesting things online. This is all lust of the eyes. You get it with sports figures, with entertainment, with media. The constant message that you're not enough, but if you only do this, then you really be happy. Lust of the eyes. Lust of the flesh is internal instead of external. It's what I need inside to make me feel good. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. This is a lot of times the pursuit of things to soothe or change the way I feel inside without any subsequent internal transformation. In other words, I want something to numb what I feel, but I'm not really engaged in changing. I'm not interested in that. I just want to feel better. If I can avoid discomfort, and if it feels good and relieves pain, it must be right. In working with addictions, this was always true. If the first time an alcoholic took a drink, if they felt terrible, it was horrible, it was the worst experience in their life, they'd never, ever do it again. Because there's some people physiologically, they drink and they throw up. It's genetic. I was not one of those. So if you have an experience with alcohol or drugs and it feels good, nobody can convince you that it didn't. You think, wow, lust of my flesh says I want to feel better, and I know that if I do this, I will feel better. So it must be good, it must be right. It's cravings for comfort, for ease, for pleasure, for entertainment, reduced anxiety. And with that often comes a lot of impulsive behavior. Like, I'm not really okay, but there's always something that might make me feel better. Now, sometimes lust of the flesh expresses itself through unhealed trauma. Do you know we can be discipled by our own unhealed trauma? It tells us the best way to get through life is just don't hurt again or do anything to make you feel uncomfortable. Unhealed trauma, pain, and wounds that lead us to be anxious about being hurt again, being hypervigilant, which is making sure nobody will ever get close to us to do that again. And that leads to fragility and suffering and not a lot of endurance. Because our own pain and unhealed wounds are what shape and mold and form us so that we end up functioning in their image. This is all part of, now I understand why that, don't hear what I'm not saying. I understand the pain of unhealed wounds. But we can't allow the pain of unhealed wounds to disciple us to the exclusion that that becomes more important to us than the life of God. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? All right, and the last one here, pride of life. It's like, what makes me look better than others? There's always a comparison with pride of life. This is like the Pharisee looking down on the tax collector. You know, the Pharisee, thank God I'm not like that guy over there. I mean, I fast twice a week and I give a tithe on everything I have. Thank God that I'm not like that horrible person over there. That's the pride of life. It's a comparison to where I come out on top compared to somebody else. And along with this, my feelings and my intellect are my highest authority. This is rampant in our culture, that what I feel about this, that's my highest authority. And don't try to tell me anything different. This is a search for status, selfish ambition, and image maintenance. You're such a nice-looking group of people. Should I tell you this? Well, I'll tell it like this. I just finished writing a class for another organization, and one of the assignments my students have is to draw a picture of their avatar. That means the picture of themselves that they want the world around them to see. It's almost like your imaginary best self. Draw a picture of that. Let's see what that looks like and where that comes from. Do you know that we all have one of those? How do I know that? Because the God of this age has set up stuff to push us into that. It's in us all that we want that. Performance and achievement give me status, worth, and identity, and a sense of moral superiority. I'm better, smarter, more aware, and more sophisticated than those people, and I'm not like them. Now, this got me thinking about these next two slides, which is a whole new topic I've never thought about before. But it flows out of this one, and that is outrage. How many of you know that the media makes its money on outrage? How many of you know that? Do you know why people want gotcha photos? Because it creates outrage. How dare they do this? And photographers are looking for that single picture. Social media people are looking for that meme, that single picture that says, aha, you should be outraged about this. And if you're outraged, you'll buy my stuff, you'll watch my YouTube channel, you'll read my blog, you'll click on likes and whatnot. Now, outrage in and of itself is not bad. If one of you did not like what I'm talking about and you walked over and smacked Maritza, I would be outraged, okay? Outrage is not bad in and of itself. The problem is, along with outrage goes this sense of I'm right, I'm awake, or I'm woke, and I'm superior, and that makes me better than you. It's a self-righteousness that's justified by my sense of moral superiority. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, I'm not taking political sides here, okay? Say that. Ed is not taking political sides. But that's probably the easiest way to illustrate this right now, okay? If I say ice, and you're not Vanilla Ice, if I say ice, it provokes a lot of outrage among different segments of the population. Right or wrong, it does. If I say the word vaccine, that produces outrage, generally on a whole different side of the political spectrum. Now, it's not wrong if you're outraged by either one. The problem gets to be this underlying sense of I'm better than you and I'm more woke than you because we won't get fooled. And because I'm outraged against that, I'm right, I'm morally superior to those of you that are not. And that's running through our culture like a wildfire. Who can find something for the most people to be outraged about? Back in my younger days when I was demonstrating, I was very left. I was further left than left. Okay, I have since repented. But we would look for things that could get people outraged, because then you would support us and then you demonstrate with us, and it was great. We worked on outrage. It's this sense that I'm addicted to being right, unable to bless enemies, relate to enemies, love my enemies, or forgive. It's highly resistant to correction, highly, because my feelings are my guide, and they're the highest authority I recognize. I can't repent, I can't change, and I won't be corrected. In fact, my identity is rooted in opposition to things that provoke my outrage. In other words, we're the woke. We're the ones that got the inside knowledge on this, that if only the rest of you people had, you would share our outrage. My reactions and behavior are fully justified because I'm angry. And I belong with the righteous because I see what those people are blind to. Now, along with this goes sarcasm and cynicism. And you can't communicate this without using words or phrases that cut. Like when the vaccine thing was a big deal, the word sheep. Well, you're just a sheep. Now, is that actually loving? Is that building a bridge? Is that making a way to share the gospel with someone? Or is that a way of saying, you're different, you're stupid, and I'm right, and I'm better than you? You see how this works? It is so subtle, but it's everywhere right now in our culture. The hidden beliefs behind outrage culture: my feelings are the most important part of me, and they should govern my behavior and yours. This is, you need to change because I'm so upset and I'm having really intense feelings. If your feelings, thinking, beliefs, expressions, or actions make other people upset, you're wrong and you need to change. This is what's behind outrage culture. Whoever has the most intense and upset feeling wins, and this is a massive cultural shift into normalizing codependent behaviors, where all of a sudden you are responsible for fixing my feelings because I'm upset. Now, this happens with couples all the time. I'm really upset, and I'm seriously upset, and so you need to quit doing that, and you need to change because you're making me upset. Now, if you're 2 years old, probably. But if you're an adult, it's like, no, I'm responsible for what I'm feeling. In fact, if I'm demanding that you fix my feelings because I'm upset, I've missed maturity someplace. This is what actually our culture has normalized now. The codependency is good, and if you refuse to do the codependent dance, you're bad. Do you see what we've been discipled into? We're divided, we're polarized, we can't even have a common language to get along. What does Scripture say about outrage and intense feelings? Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger, for the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Wow. This is so countercultural right now. But quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger is the life of God. Do you see why we need to be strengthened as disciples? Because this stuff is all what we're working against. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let sun go down on your wrath, and give no opportunity to the devil. We need to be strengthened. Are you with me so far? Okay. Great Commission. What does the Great Commission mean? Well, what is a commission? It's an authorization or command to act in a prescribed manner or to perform prescribed acts. It's the authority to act for, on behalf of, or in place of another, an act of entrusting or giving authority. So the Great Commission is Jesus giving us the authority to act on behalf of him to disciple the nations, which is pretty cool. Discipleship is a grand adventure because it's like God has just dropped us behind enemy lines in the middle of a culture that runs completely opposite from him, run by the spiritual formation guru of this world. And he says, now, infiltrate and make disciples that will follow me and not follow the pattern of the world. So the Great Commission, and Jesus came up and spoke to them, saying, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore, and in the Greek it means literally going as you go, and make disciples of all nations. All nations are ethnic groups, Jews and Gentiles and every place in between. Now, the King James says, teach all nations. I think that's the only version that's translate that's teach, because the word is disciples in the Greek. Make disciples. One of the things that's unique about this word disciples is it implies not that you tell people what to do, but that you initiate a relationship with someone where in the context of that relationship, they're learning from you and seeing in you and walking with you while you're living that lifestyle and doing your thing. It doesn't mean tell them what to do. It means walk with them in the process. It's a very relational thing. Baptizing them. I did some research on baptizing, what that word meant, and it was way cool. Because we think, okay, Michael's going to baptize you. He's going to immerse you in that water. It's a lot deeper than that. The original word for baptizing had to do with submerging a piece of fabric in a dye. So it would take on the color of the dye, so when you took it out from the dye, it was a different color. It was what you did, what a blacksmith did if he was heating something and hammering it, and he'd stick it in the water to cool it off. Originally, what it meant was the introduction or placing of a person or thing into a new environment or into union with something else to alter its condition or relationships to its previous environment or condition. What that means is baptizing means you immerse people into the life of Father, Son, and Spirit, the life of God so much that essentially it changes the very nature and character of who they were before they were immersed. That's pretty cool. Dunking is cool, but the actual word is richer because it means something is changed at its very essence. That's why we're baptized into the life of God, so that we're immersed into his life. It so changes us like fabric being dyed or metal being heated and changed. So he's saying, don't just dunk them to say a profession of faith. You immerse them so that they're so immersed and changed in their contact with the life of God that everything about them changes. Teaching them to observe all that I command you. The word teaching there means not just, it's the same thing you could get off of YouTube. It doesn't mean that. It means that you are instructing someone with the intent that their understanding will change so that the kind of things they do changes. And it's very distinct from even preaching. It's not the same thing as preaching. What you get with the Great Commission is Jesus' authority to immerse people into his life, into relationship with him, so that everything about them changes just like the fabric changes color or the metal is shaped and changed. That's the Great Commission. And this is so counter to the culture of this world. This does not work the way the enemy does. But we all have to have this. We all have enough of the old embedded in our flesh that it continues to influence us long after we receive Jesus. And if you shift into neutral, if we cut ourselves off from strengthening that comes from gathering, from training, from teaching, guess what will shape and direct us? The same things as before, the same thing the world does. So this brings me to New Life. And as Alan called it, our commission or mission impossible. We have a great problem at New Life. This is a good problem, as problems go. We're growing more quickly than we imagined. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there are more people in here on Sundays. We have now maxed out all our available classroom space. We have no more. That new room upstairs is spoken for. We're maxed. I mean, we didn't have that problem a while back, but now we have it. And the reason this is so important is because for geography, for everything else, it is hard for people at New Life to gather other nights of the week. It just is. I mean, we try it, and it works to some degree, but we realized we can get more people to train, to teach, to grow relationship with on Sundays than we can any other time, which is why space here is such a big deal. I mean, this is huge. We can want to do a lot of good things for discipling and the Great Commission, but we're out of space. We also need designated office space to serve you in the community as we grow. And we're recognizing new needs all the time. That's why we have Mission Impossible, which is the addition to this building. Now, I'm psyched about this. I am thrilled. And that's what it'll look like. This side is the new part. You can see where the canopy is out front. The existing part kind of starts with where the front doors are and moves over to the left. Now, this is the blueprint Brian drew up, and I'm pretty sure you can't see that very well. So I'm going to play with the laser thing. Oh, this is great. Because unless you're really steady, it shakes. Maybe I should do this, like I'm going to shoot it. This is the new addition along with office space here. Now, this big area here is actually 3 rooms. There's a wall divider here and one there. Brian says you can get 150 people into that new space at with round tables. I hope that's correct. 150 people. The really nifty thing about this is we could have large groups in there, or we could have smaller groups because those are insulated and soundproofing wall dividers, so that you can actually have 3 classes going on in there in addition to what's already happening in here. That is huge for where we're at and where our needs are going forward. The other neat thing is the kitchen. It is a much larger kitchen that's connected with where we'll be doing breakfast on Sunday. I mean, this works so much better. It's much easier for fellowship because I don't know if you've noticed, it wasn't as true today, but some Sunday mornings, it's jammed in the VHQ. You almost have to eat and get up and leave so that there's room for new people to come in. We're maxing. The other thing is office space. We need office space. The hours for the office have expanded, which is good, but we need offices. There's one for we need an office designated for youth. Where that's going to be, I'm not sure. Okay, but we need one. Michael needs an office. Michael does maintenance, he does outreach, he does congregational care. The man needs an office. It is hard to do all that out of your truck. No matter how smart and good you are, he needs space to do what he does. that is going to be a counseling office. New Life wants to begin a pastoral counseling ministry, which we need, but there's no space for it now. We need space for it. There probably will be eventually groups and classes that shoot off from that once we discover more what counseling needs at New Life are, which is also a good thing. But we can't really do that when there's no more space available for those things. So all this is coming. This is all part of the Mission Impossible and New Life working to fulfill our part of the Great Commission in Taylorsville and Alexander County. We need all of this stuff. And the rest of the building will continue to be occupied and put to good use. So how can you help? Well, pray, because this is Mission Impossible. I mean, this is a big deal. So please pray for us. Join one of our Sunday morning classes. You know, we're trying to move as much as we can to Sunday mornings to serve you better. Check out what's going on class-wise on Sunday morning. I mean, Robert's got a class. Eric has a class. We need more. We just need more. Worship with us. Get involved in what's happening in the life of the church, kind of behind the scenes. See Eric to find out how you can serve on one of the teams that we've got here. I was up in the media room before church, and I'm like, if I wasn't an elder doing what I do, that's where I'd want to be, because that place is cool. If you're into tech and cool stuff, that's where I would want to be. If you want to join a life group, see Robert Broom. Robert lives and breathes life groups. If you want to be part of congregational care, see Michael Fox. Michael stays up at night trying to figure out how to bless the congregation with care. And he's got a heart for that. And if you want to find out how you can be part of that, please see Michael. He would love to talk with you. Now, along with that, we need funds. We just need the funds. The good news is somewhere around $40,000 came in like that first Sunday after Alan announced this on December 28th. But I don't think much more has come in because we haven't been talking about it, and then we've been out with snow and ice and everything else. But we need the funds for this. And I'm going to encourage you to designate offerings for this that's separated from your regular giving here. Now, why do I say that? Well, it would do us very little good to have a lot of money to build a building and not be able to keep the lights on here, or not be able to fix the sound system if it goes bad, or air goes out, or heat goes out. We have to keep all the regular budget items going. That's just the fiscal reality of a church. So please consider special offerings and designated givings for this project. I was reading in, I guess it was Exodus, where they needed to build a tabernacle, and God put it on people's hearts just to give, and they gave so much that they had to say, okay, stop, you're giving too much now. It's because God put it on people's hearts to give. And I'm praying that you look at this not as, oh, now they want more money. No, this is an opportunity to create disciples, to create discipleship, to fulfill what we see our mission at New Life is. We are all in this together. Talk to an elder. We want to hear from you. Talk with one of us before or after our services. You can drop a note in the offering box at the back of the church if you'd like to talk to us about this or have questions about it. Email the office, administrator@newlife.com. Share your questions and thoughts with us. Let us know how you feel about our mission and the new building, because we're in this together. This is all part of the Great Commission at New Life, and I'm excited about it. Look, we have all this momentum of the world that's been built up that I told you about. New Life gets to stand and say there is another way to do life. And we want to do it boldly, unashamedly. There is a way to do the life of God. That's what I want. That's what we want for you, and that's what y'all want. So Karen, y'all can come up. If the prayer pod setter-uppers would do their setter-upping, that would be great. I hope that you're hearing our heart in this. Please give the elders some feedback. We would love to hear from you. I look at this as a chance to impact us and our community in a way that we've never done before. This is a pretty cool invitation I think the Lord is offering us to grow. He's adding to us. And I would just be thrilled to make that trip with all of you. So thank you.